Just a reminder, we're also running a number of competitions on BetRacingNation.com. One is a Connect 4, which we're actually contributing £100 to. Have a check on the website for that. And there's also a number of clips as well from YouTube, and see if any of these guys have changed their mind from 2 or 3 weeks ago. But we've also got a number of other YouTube clips as well, and a range from the handicaps for Cheltenham, but other racing items as well. We spoke to jockeys and ex-jockeys, and also we've spoken to trainers as well, Willie Mullins and Nicky Henderson a couple of weeks ago, and if you play back some of that, some little hints certainly from Nicky Henderson as well on Cheltenham this week. Now the focus is on the Champion Hurdle, and this is the best race, no doubt, of the meeting. It divides opinion. Where do we start? I'll start. Be controversial. Hurricane Fly cannot win.
Agreed.
Thank you very much, Billy. No one disagrees with me?
No, go on, we'll let you go.
I wouldn't go as far as saying he cannot win, but
he
wouldn't be my top selection.
In defence of Hurricane Fly, why is it that this horse does not get the recognition that horse deserves? 19 Grade 1s, and still you've got people like me saying it's going to get beat, and other people going, well, no, I'd rather it not win. Why is that?
It's 11 is a key thing now. You know, if 11-year-olds are winning the Champion Hurdle, it doesn't say a lot for the younger horses.
Sea Pigeon won it at that age, some years ago. But
I think the fact that he did get beat in one as well probably doesn't particularly help.
But it was the year when he had preparation wasn't great.
Yeah, and the years that he has won it, arguably some people will say that he didn't win vintage Champion Hurdles when he did win it. He beat Rock on Ruby and he beat Pedlar's Cross, who of course went on to be really disappointing in the end. I think this year is by far his hardest Champion Hurdle to contest. He's got the horses coming out of novice company such as My Ten to Yours, Alcona and the new one, and plus he's got Jeski as well, so there's plenty of opposition to Hurricane Fly if you do want to take him on like yourself, Pete.
I'll definitely be taking him on, but Bobby, Hurricane Fly, let's talk about Hurricane Fly. Are you as strong as me on it? You don't think it will win, or?
I think this year he's going to get beat, and I'm putting my neck on the line. You know, I like a gamble, I like a challenge, I like to say something a bit different and think differently as well. But I'm going to go for Our Connor. I think Our Connor this year can beat Hurricane Fly. Having said that, though, Our Connor has actually been beaten twice at Leopardstown by Hurricane Fly. So they're going up against each other.
You're taking in consideration, and I did this a couple of weeks ago. You're taking in consideration that you think the trainer will have it spot on for Cheltenham, and that each time Al Connor has got that horse closer to Hurricane Fly each time, and you think.
I think this time it can go one better.
But you can look at it from the other side of the point of view, is that Al Connor might not quite stay at full pace the 2 miles, because you only get over that final. The Triumph last year was a bad race.
Yeah, but it was in deep ground, so he did have to stay the 2 miles pretty well to do it, and he did just absolutely hack up, didn't he? He made a mockery of that field, included some decent horses.
I wouldn't worry about his stamina at all, to be honest. I mean, you can watch the Irish race over and over and say, what happened and who did what. I don't think it's particularly relevant. I think, Al Connor still has potential, whereas Hurricane Fly doesn't.
It's the age aspect, isn't it?
Al Connor's 5 years old. He's very young.
Yeah. Well, someone who is also very young is in our Twitter corner. Sam, any more tweets?
I look young, but I don't feel having to go through all these different wrong answers you keep sending in to me, guys, about who wins the Champion Hurdle. Tom Clark says Connor. No, not for me. I think 4-1 now. The value's gone. I don't understand this whole concept of, well, he's got close to Hurricane Fly. You can get close, but there's a very big difference between getting close and getting past. If you watch the Leopardstown runs back, when you see that horse is getting headed, Hurricane Fly digs in and finds more and just seems to have a real urgency to get his neck in front. I'm not the biggest Hurricane Fly fan, but I can't see it beating Connor. Andrew Ashcroft's tweeted me in to say that it's my tent or yours. Obviously, he's not concerned about the recent possible injury problems. We've heard in this week just gone that he's back to normal, everything's fine. Just strikes me as something's a little bit odd there. I know the preview nights we've heard people saying that he's back to full work, but something's definitely happened there. I've also got Nile Man United fan who's tweeted in to say Hurricane Fly wins for him. For me, I'm on the new one. I think it's between the new one and Hurricane Fly. I'm not 100% sure if I'm as confident on the new one since he got beaten by My Tent or Yours. And also the pace angle could be very interesting with the possible runners of Captain CB, and the real unknown, I think, is Underso. If that horse turns up, could really put the race on its head. I'd love to hear your thoughts on that. Keep tweeting in. We want to hear from you about the Arkle as well, why I'm right and Peter's wrong on backing Champagne Fever with the fantastic Cheltenham record the horse has. Back to Peter.
You got your pen out there in a quite sort of, what's the name, manner there. There's a knife not holding in your hand.
No, I'm just going to say what Sam was saying there in Twitter Corner about Hurricane Fly has been digging in deep and finding that little bit more. I think it'll come to a stage where Hurricane Fly doesn't find that little bit more, and I think that day will be Tuesday, and I think our Connor will then take over him.
And I would say that Hurricane Fly is pretty much unbeatable at
and why we spend all the
time
talking about the Irish contingent? We spoke to Cheltenham for 15 minutes about the Irish contingent. We've got two potential winners of this race. The new one, My Tent or Yours.
Won't go.
What?
I don't think My Tent or Yours will go.
I totally agree with what Bobby
Thank you, high five there. Thank you.
I would say this is a recording, and if you're going to, when people are watching this on Monday night,
we'll look a bit foolish, probably. Yes.
Yeah, we'll look foolish, but I don't think My Tent or Yours will go after the little setback what he's had.
I think it will, and I think it wins if it turns up. The new one.
It's the thing with the new one. I mean, where you can go over the Kempton race, and then what's interesting for me is you look at Nigel Twiston-Davies as a trainer. He doesn't do that well at Kempton and Ascot and those kind of flat, speedier tracks. When the new one gets to Cheltenham, he's going to be a different horse. It's really going to suit him a lot more.
Let me put this to you, right?
Yeah.
You've got Ruby Walsh on Hurricane Fly. You've got AP on My Tent or Yours. You've got Cooper, who's more established, on Al Connor. You've probably got Barry Geraghty on jet ski.
Got Danny Mullins on our Connor, not.
Danny Mullins, I'm sorry. Twiston-Davies in a finish with these guys who've been there, done that.
No
Twiston-Davies has never won the champion hurdle. Nicky Henderson won it 5 times. You say stats are there to be broken, but you look at the trainers' records, the jockey record in this kind of race, you know, even though the new one, don't forget, made a mistake at Kempton, was beaten by My Tent or Yours.
That's not relevant, though. These trial races, the new one, that wasn't his running. I mean, I wouldn't worry at all about the jockey, Sam Twiston-Davies on the new one. It's not a concern at all.
No, he's a good jockey.
It's fantastic, Sam, is it? Wouldn't worry me whatsoever.
But but don't get me wrong, what I'm saying is in a few years' time, he can go toe-to-toe with these great jockeys. But on the day of a champion hurdle,
you won't need
you don't worry about it.
It won't be a close finish.
It wouldn't put enough worry in my mind not to back him. I wouldn't look down my list and say, oh, sorry, I don't fancy the new one now. I've seen that he's against the likes of Ruby Walsh and
we'll talk about that later in the week about Big Bucks and Annie Power. But let's go over to Sam. He's itching to talk.
Because we've got some breaking news. Contrary to reports and possible moves on the market earlier, Underso is not going to be running in the Champion Hurdle. So you heard it here first. Underso does not go, apparently. I mean, we'd had a few people tweeting this morning suggesting the horse may be on its way over. Maybe it was, maybe just for a practice to see there was a space on the ferry and fancied checking out how the horse travelled. But Underso is not going to be in, so that changes the dynamic again of the Champion Hurdle, I think.
What doesn't?
Back to Peter.
What doesn't change the dynamics is the surprise, if you like, of Captain CB being supplemented into the race. What's the reason behind that?
Because My Tent or Yours isn't going.
Oh yeah, yes, yeah, absolutely wrong. It's to get a great pace. It's to get a good pace.
Yeah, as Pete's spot on it. It's just to get a good gallop. There isn't an obvious front runner in the whole field, bar Captain CB. Now,
so why has he been brought in? If My Tent or Yours is not running, is it setting up for jet ski?
He'll jet ski as well.
He's helping. He's basically going to end up helping everybody, but nobody wants to see a falsely run a championship
champion.
race
No,
like
no.
this. Nobody wants to see a crawl and then a sprint or anything like that. So Captain Seabee's just going to make it a nice even pace or a good gallop and fade away coming down the hill and leave it to the others to fight out.
Maybe we get pulled up towards the closing stages.
Yeah, possibly, but it doesn't really
It
matter.
is.
That's what
It's the
that's what his
closeness
role's
of that
gonna be.
horse last time that worries me in terms of how it can fly. Do you think if How It Can Fly was to win, that would be it?
It's hard to say, to be honest. I mean, he could come back again.
And would we see Annie Power in
go
next
for
year's
that.
champion hurdle?
No, because she'll win the world hurdle.
No, she
And
won't.
come back next year and come back next year for the champion hurdle. Do we think that if How It Can Fly wins this season, Willie Mullins will say, "Great champ, that's it"?
If he beats all these and this same lot lined up next year, in theory, he'll probably come again.
Yeah,
But
it's
compared
hard
to,
know.
you made the point, and you made a correct point, that compared to previous champion hurdles, this is pretty strong,
Very
isn't it?
deep.
Yeah.
You know, and it's not like, you know, you're running against your Rock, with all due respect to Rock on Rubies and
Peddler's Cross as well.
absolutely. This is, you know, these have all been on top of their game. No one's come into it, you know, out of form.
No.
Everything is on form.
No, it's a very, very deep race. I mean, even I've seen people giving each way chances to the likes of Melodic Rendezvous, who in previous
But
years...
the ground will
I
be
know.
definitely against- yeah.
I'm not saying I fancy
Yeah.
him personally, but and a ground is the reason why he needs soft ground. But on a normal year, Melodic Rendezvous would probably be a single-figure price of this, with the ability that he's got and the Grade 1 win that he's got. But you know, he's a 20-to-1 shot, and that proves how good a race it is that he's so big in the market.
So, of the ones at the top of the market, head on the block, which one would you be against? Which one would you, if someone said to you, I'm the big five, if you like, that can win this, some say six, what it would be the one that you, for me, on the record, would be Alcona. I don't think, looking back at the reviews, I think, right, out of the first two, Alcona, out of the first two. We can talk about selections a little bit later on. Who would you have outside of those lot, outside the first two?
My 10 to yours, personally.
Okay.
My 10 to yours, if he goes, which I don't think he will. I keep saying it. I really, really don't think the horse will go. I really don't.
Billy?
If I was a bookmaker on course, I would be really excited. I'd be laying Hurricane Fly and my 10 to yours and feeling very confident in doing so.
Okay. Well, let's get back over to Sam in Twitter Corner.
Yeah, loads of you tweeting in about the news that Underso won't be going. Quite a lot of disappointment, to be fair, from you. But I think we've already got plenty of superstars in the race, and you know, I think We Love Tips hits the nail on the head. He's reignited my passion for the new one. The new one has pace, stamina, and turn of foot. I mean, it's everything you want to see in a horse that's going to win a champion hurdle. I can't have Arcona. I watched back the Triumph the other day. He wins it by miles. But what's he beating in the Triumph? You know, you only have to listen to the preview panels this year. The Triumph hurdle isn't considered a particularly worthy race, that sort of thing. Plenty of good horses have come out of it, I know, but I'm just stating the opinion. Patrick Mullins tells you to go and get a pint when that race is on, so that's how high he holds that particular race in regard. Keep them coming in. We're going to be moving on to the Arkle fairly soon. Like I say, everyone knows me. Cut me in half. Champagne fever in the middle of me. It's going to be a fantastic winner for myself personally, because I'm on at a big price, and also for all those of you out there that are backing the horse as well. Back over to Peter, who's going to tease you in, I think, and tell me who he fancies for the Arkle.
Well, that's going to be a bit later on. But I'll tell you what about the champion hurdle. One horse that is a bit of an enigma is someone that wears a hood. I know you'd be better in a hood, Billy.
No.
But Jeski is going to wear a hood, we think.
Yeah, that's what seems to be
Would imagine
being floated around.
Has the horse been ridden wrong in the past? We were sitting here with the Irish contingent here of Jimmy Derham and Declan Ricks, and they were talking about, you know, in that particular race, Jeski will be up nearer the pace. But what we saw was AP McCoy at the back. Do we think Jeski will be more prominently ridden, and do we think Jeski could get a place?
He could win. He's got a real chance of running really well. I mean, you can look at these sort of small fields. I call it a trial, but you know, they didn't go at pace, and you can analyse and say, "Oh, this horse did that." It doesn't really matter because he's going to be so far removed from that, and this is going to suit Jeski. He's going to travel a lot better. He's going to travel wherever he is in the race. He's going to travel at a good pace, and I absolutely do see him playing a part in the finish.
Me, much less so than the other friend. I can partly see the argument for him. I think he's becoming a little bit hard to place, and he might be a little bit tripless in time. I think he's a better 2.5 miler.
I do.
I think he'd be brilliant at Aintree and the Aintree hurdle.
But the point being, in these races, they are run at some pace, and will he be coming back at them at the end?
Possibly. And the 2 runs that are slightly blotting his copy, but he got beat a long, long way in a champion bumper many moons ago at Cheltenham, and he was left quite a way behind by my 10 to yours in the Supreme last year as well. But no, I can see the plus points for Jeski, but
that's
personally,
why my 10 to yours is going to win this year.
I wouldn't be on Jeski.
That's why my 10 to yours is going to win this year.
He won't win.
When we started this programme, I was a my 10 to yours fan, and everyone told me that Jeski had been purchased because my 10 to yours wasn't capable of winning this race. But it's the injury scare. You don't want injury scares a week before
not
Cheltenham.
this late on.
No.
If it was like, say...
Yes, but I mean, we're not trainers here, but if you've got a little bruise on your toe, it's not, as if you're a horse, I guess, it doesn't...
Nicky Henderson seems pretty upbeat and says that he's going to go, so I don't see any reason to assume he's not going.
Do you sometimes think then, when something comes like that it may be a little bit worse than, and they're trying to play it down a little bit? Is that your feeling?
What Nicky said was that he was 100% sound, he was absolutely fine, but they would monitor it every morning. And why, if it's 100% fine, it's all gone away. You don't have that disclaimer that we have to keep an eye on it, and that's to me.
That's a worry.
But they're playing on the side of caution, surely.
Yeah.
Oh well, yeah. I think you need to be, you need to take serious caution and make sure the horse is okay. But like what Billy said, if they're monitoring it every morning, there's being cautious, but like obviously you're constantly checking. Now, if they were to turn around and said, you know what, this has happened, the horse is fine, we're going to Cheltenham, end of story, then I would be like, yeah, okay, fair enough, But the fact that he said that they're checking the horse every morning, I'm thinking, he's not going to go. He's not going to go.
He did do a piece of work yesterday. This is Friday. If you're watching this recorded, he did do a piece of work on Friday and came through it okay. So yeah, that'll be enough for me.
I'd also add as well, we had David Cross on last week, and he rides out the new one and said, that horse is going really well at home. It's a fascinating contest. He actually said the new one's got a great behind. I don't know what that means, but obviously very strong, muscular behind. Bit like me, really. If you do fancy the new one, you can get 8 to 1 actually up until the race on the website BetRacingNation.com, courtesy of Paddy Power. That's for new customers only. The new one at 8 to 1. We are going to get everyone's selections on the Champion Hurdle a bit later on. We're going to take a short break, and then we want your views on the Arkle, Champagne Fever or Trifolium. See you then.